It's fitting that in our teaser on our very last day of the LPL Spring regular season that we take a look at SinoDragon entering, because today they'll be starting off and looking for their opportunity to enter playoffs. Welcome back to the LPL, as we are back in Shanghai and players take to the stage. Today's a very important matchup. Suning, SinoDragon. You can see there, of course, looking at Maple, who, you know, for the rest, and SwordArT, for the rest of Suning, what has been the story for them? What has been the story for Smlz? For Suning, the identity has shifted. We've looked at a 10-man rotating roster now as well. Many different junglers. But for this team coming in who are facing towards playoffs, the same 5 players have been on Summoner's Rift. The same 5 players have played from week 1 to now week 10 to the very last day. And getting a couple of shots, you know, people like Xiaopeng, people like Twila, big impact so far, to see if they can do it again today. Hello and welcome back. My name's Jayce, joined by Mr. Clement Chu next to me. And today, we got one story to open up for you with this SinoDragon Suning series, and that is that BLG are not out, Mr. Clement Chu.
Oh, yeah, a lot of apologies to our fan base and the BLG fan base as well, but there was a bit of confusion, not only on our side, but on the Chinese side as well. The rankings are displayed in win rate, but playoffs is determined by game differential. So by our calculations yesterday, if SinoDragons, even if they went 0-2, SinoDragons would still have advanced into playoffs because they had the win rate advantage over BLG.
Right.
However, if we go by game differential, and this is what League Ops has decreed, we are going by game differential. SinoDragons, if they go 0-2, they will be out of playoffs. BLG hold the head-to-head, and they would tie the game differential if they go 0-2. If they win only one game, and all one game is needed, then they will advance over Bilibili Gaming. So Bilibili Gaming are not out. However, SinoDragons, fate is in their own hands. All they need to do is win one victory, and they will go on as the 8th seed.
Remember that. Going up against Suning today, it is that first game, second game, depending on how things go. SinoDragon need only to take one to secure their first ever playoff run in their first ever split of the LPL. And what a split it's been, considering that on the very last day, we still don't have our exact top 8.
Yeah, it's been a hell of a ride right here, and all of these point systems, the changes in the way the rules have been described to us have caused a bit of confusion. We're sorry for that, but what we have locked down is the top 4 for sure. FunPlus Phoenix is going to be the 1st seed, IG the 2nd seed, TOP and RNG respectively 3rd and 4th.
Okay, so we know our top 4. We know who's going to semifinals. We know who's going to quarterfinals. With TOP and RNG, we've got to sort out 5th to 8th, because remember, 5th versus 8th, 6th versus 7th. It's important where you sit. And for a team like SinoDragon, just making it into playoffs, as we mentioned before, is the most important way. They'll be opening our match here today, Clement.
Yeah, definitely. Huge matchup today. BLG fans, the biggest Suning fans right now in the stadium. OMG versus VG doesn't have an impact into the playoffs, but we do want to see what they have in the tank. JD Gaming versus WE. Now, this is a big one. As the current standings stand, the loser will play EDG in the first round of the playoffs. And I would favor my chances against SinoDragons and Bilibili Gaming at this point. So massive matchups for all of these teams, especially the 1st and 3rd set, are crucial to playoff standings.
JDG and WE coming up later. Remember that is going to be a fiery matchup considering how things have been going between the two teams. But this one should be as well. Suning, and for SinoDragon, what a split it has been. The fact that they're on the cusp of making playoffs with one single game win is a testament to how this team has entered their first split of the LPL.
This team has been a constant eye-opener for us. We actually projected them to be one of the 12th place teams or maybe 13th place teams. They're very dominant in the LDL. They almost had a Griffin-esque type of storyline coming in. 14-0 in the Challenger League. And when they came up, we thought, you know, probably the players are not going to be that
It'll be
strong.
like a V5 situation.
Yes.
It'll just sit outside for 1 or 2 splits. We'll see what happens next year, maybe.
But props to Coach Bayern for keeping the synergy of the team intact, and they've been able to advance at such a surprising pace.
Like I said at the start, 5 unique players have played through the whole split. Teams like Suning have had roster changes, while this special team with their very secret sauce have got some synergy in mind with champions.
SinoDragons, they have one very successful team composition, and they have never lost on it. If you give them Sion and Kai'Sa at the same time, they are 100% win rate. And those 2 champions just happen to be their most played for their respective positions in Changhong in the top lane and GALA in the bottom lane. So we like to call them a sword and shield type of composition. They like front-to-back team fights, and they're very, very good at it. What I would say is that their team fight synergy is among the best teams. Remember, these are the guys that took down RNG 2-0 in a recent match in Week 9. And right here, we can see them pulling it off against V5 once more. Just watch GALA. He's never really focused down in the team fight. He can constantly output damage, and the front line is always there for him. Changhong has been such a nuisance in terms of his play in the front line. He constantly keeps people away. He's very good with the decimating smash, and he also wins lane a lot of the times, even with the tanks.
When you have a designated Kai'Sa or designated Sion, you can mix up a composition so well. I love that from Xiaopeng. That was so stylish. And that kind of goes to show you how SDG have been playing majority of their games.
Yeah, every single member on this team has a very specific function. Xiaopeng and Twila especially, they hold the early game. They give time for GALA to scale up, to get him on that Kai'Sa, to get him on that Xayah. And in these team fights, I really like what Xiaopeng has been doing. He's been this disruptor in terms of the team fights. He serves a very similar function to what someone like Changhong would be doing, is just taking away attention from the main carry of GALA.
But recently as well, if we're talking about GALA and Changhong and their influence in this team, I want to bring it back to Twila, who in the past couple of series has been performing a lot better.
Yes.
Quadra kill on the Corki. Corki's kind of been his mainstay as well. We're starting to see this mid laner rising to form.
Yeah, I think Twila is one of the more interesting players because he has a very unique champion pool, and the way he plays is that he's a bit of a tech player. He fills in the gaps needed to counter the enemy composition. They're not going to change much from like the sword and shield type of team composition, but a lot of times you do need extra tools to pull you through the early and mid game or to help scale up, and that's what Twila brings to you. He plays 12 champions. He plays the Zillion, the Aurelion Sol, the Corki, the Lissandra, and he pretty much just plays everything. Assassins as well.
He's got a Vel'Koz in there, I'm pretty sure too, after what we saw last night.
He definitely does. So he's this type of player that I think he's like a Swiss Army knife of the team composition. You just plug him in, and he will help you get whatever you need to neutralize the enemy team composition's strongest points.
Goes to show you how they've made it this far, because our champion pool, or sorry, our player pool in the mid lane is so darn strong that Twila had a rough competition coming in, not because of their performance, but purely because of who he was going up with.
Yes.
Changhong, the same situation, but by sitting on a tank, 14 games on the Sion. His next most played is GP at 4. He has 10 more games on this top lane tank.
He's the biggest one trick we have in the LPL.
He really is. When you have such a big top lane champion pool and you have yourself so many contenders up in that top side this split, it goes to show you that just picking up this tank, situating your team in a good position, has worked out well for SDG.
And on the other side, Suning's bringing in a pretty unique roster as well. They've only played this roster once. It will be Biubiu coming in from the top side. Xiao will be sitting out. Now, Xiao has been known for a while as being one of the best Chinese top laners, but I think the problem on a team with Smlz is you needed to split resources. He's a 4-1 split pushing type of player, and if a 4-1 player doesn't get ahead, pretty much does nothing. So instead, they're going for Biubiu, a young rookie, a Cho'Gath main, by the way, who they don't actually have to invest anything in.
BLG relying on this composition, suiting Biubiu, Weiwei, Maple, SMLZ, and SwordArT in the bottom lane. These are the faces that BLG will be looking at closely to get them across the line. 2-0 is what they need, and SDG only need one. Changhong, Xiaopeng, Twila, GALA, and Mark your bottom lane.
Yep, so Suning have been evicted from playoff contention. They have no chance of making it in, but if they get a 2-0 today, then I'm pretty sure BLG is going to be very happy for them. They're probably going to take them out to dinner and all that.
Can you believe we're saying that, though? That Suning are out. That Suning, the super team, are out. It's come down such a long road. Clement, you buried them twice now, I believe. It's been a very
many more times in my heart.
Long-winded our funeral. We're almost going to give them a funeral today as well, but SinoDragon being in such an important position, it's kind of like, let's bring Suning back to life.
Yeah. We really want to see what Suning can form up to be in Summer Split. I think Spring Split was a bit of a big experiment and a failure in terms of the results of that experiment. I think Suning tried to play through too many avenues, and right now what we're seeing is that this is an SMLZ focused composition.
Yep.
Biubiu is just there for the team fights. All the ganks, all the resources are going towards the bot lane, and SMLZ was quite happy with the way that their previous series went against V5. SMLZ, we saw a rare smile from his face as he got to pick the only Jhin of Season 9.
That's right, and he dominated on it, Clement. I want to see if those niche picks come through again. Of course, for Suning, tournament life is on the line.
For SinoDragon.
For SinoDragon, excuse me. BLG need SDG to lose 0-2. Otherwise, they are eliminated from playoffs. One single game puts them out of the running. So we'll start game 1. And again, everything on the line.
Yeah, and Suning, they do go on to the blue side the way they've been drafting. I think Zoe's a great pick right here. Always like to see that in the LPL. Rek'Sai is still up, so I would say one of those two champions is what we should expect.
Okay, Rek'Sai going to be the go-to, of course, there for Weiwei. But remember what else is up, as you just mentioned before. Now you have the Silas gone, the Lissandra, the Jayce here as a big priority.
Yeah, and this is quite rare from Changhong. He does actually play a lot of Jayce from the LDL times. This time going up against Biubiu, who I would say is relatively inexperienced. His GD at 15 is actually -2,000, so not having a great showing so far. I think this is why Changhong is going away from the tanks and saying, you know what, I might as well try to get the maximum value I can out of this top lane.
It's a confident pick with confident jerseys. You notice they're wearing some new stylish apparel on the side of SinoDragon.
Oh, I like the
Maybe
colors.
Preparing for playoffs.
Very slick.
Yeah.
They look a little too similar to RNG's color set, but I'm okay with it.
Oh, that's kind of, yeah, no, that's very fair. SinoDragon, they may be looking slick, setting up the Alistar on Mark once again. Now, Mark has been one of those players that we haven't hyped up too much in the split, but he's been playing very consistently as of late, and GALA and Mark both have been playing this bottom lane exceptionally well, so expect to see the setup again for the AD carry, while Suning, SwordArT is going to get his fabled Thresh.
Ooh, that's his best champion so far, and Caitlyn plus Thresh is the combination we saw Suning running the last series. Very strong potential to one-shot if you can get the Flay into a Yordle snack trap, and then you can just finish off with the headshots. But we actually saw a lot of mistakes coming from this combination the last time they ran it. Maybe this time they're going to be a lot more familiar with the combo.
It's not an interesting combination that we see, or rather a common combination we see with the Caitlyn jumping onto Summoner's Rift. But yes, GALA is going to play another Kai'Sa game. Already he has himself 13 games on it. This is going to be number 14 to catch up to the Sion and Changhong in the top lane. Remember that in the past, we've seen Jayces in the mid lane, and although in 9.5 the meta has shifted more towards a topside focused Jayce, it's still a potential flex.
Yeah, definitely. And this is the strongest patch that we see Jayce really on. The Conquerors are still there, and he has been hit by the nerf in 9.6. We are still playing on 9.5, so he's an absolute dynamite of a pick. It's the most picked champion globally on patch 9.5, and we've been seeing it mainly in the top side just because it synergizes a little bit more with the Conquerors there.
But does that change up the composition from SDG? So far, you've still got the Alistar and the Kai'Sa. You know what Jayce adds there with the long-range poke and ability to get these early skirmishes, but we're going to start banning away mid lanes from SDG. The plot thickens here as Syndra and LeBlanc are both taken away.
This is quite common from what we see from SinoDragons. Their weakest laning phase is actually coming out from Twila, I would say, individually. So a lot of times they do try to protect him with the bans. We see Suning, on the other hand, trying to slow down the tempo coming in from SinoDragons. Jayce is a pick that can get snowballed out of control if you give him a good jungler. So they're taking away Xiaopeng's Lee Sin. Xiaopeng's really well known for these duelist type of junglers where he can make things happen by himself without the help of his mid lane. So I think the big picks he's looking at are the Nidalee and the Lee Sin.
Yeah, he's picked up Nidalee a couple of times. One of the unique junglers here in the LPL. He'll slam it down for game number 1. And you notice Suning trying to ban away the most played here by SinoDragon, but there's still so many other picks to come through. When we lose a Sion, when we lose a Lee Sin. Okay, let's just jump over to the Jayce, to the Nidalee.
What we should be seeing from Suning right here are picks that give room for Caitlyn to deal damage. I think they're going to be looking at tanks, and I think they're going to be looking at area control. What?
Yes!
Orianna.
We have not seen an Orianna in the spring split. How do you couple up a team fight builder like Orianna.
Ooh.
There's a cannon. Jarvan, is he available here for Biubiu in the top lane? I mean, he's the only J4 top lane player, cannon.
This is quite weird, because usually when you see an Orianna, you want to check for a ball delivery system, but Rek'Sai does not actually give that to you. When Rek'Sai uses the Void Rush, she actually vanishes from the map, so it drops the ball. So I'm kind of curious on this Orianna pick. We haven't seen Orianna in a very long time, and the main reason is that, well, she doesn't really have that early game strength. She's actually very slow build-up. She has a very slow build-up with the items she goes for, and this team composition doesn't exactly make the most use of her strengths. However, she will create a lot of space for Smlz to get his damage off, and maybe that's all they need.
Maybe. I mean, you've set yourself up with the Poppy in the top lane for Sooning change, but SDG, more often than not, we see that, you know, heavy sword and shield composition, as you called it, Clement. This time, not much of a shield. A lot of swords just thrown from SDG.
I like this shakeup from SinoDragons. I feel like with the way Sooning has been playing, all the eggs are in the Smlz basket, so you might as well try to open them up on other lanes in the map. So I like what SinoDragons are doing. They're typically actually a bit of a slow team in terms of their laning phases, and their shining spot really has been Xiaopeng. But I think against Sooning, especially with the inexperienced top laner in Biubiu, and with the Maple coming in and off of the roster, this is actually a good idea to try and pressure their other lanes. Yeah,
it absolutely is. You've got Biubiu on the Poppy as well, so remember, experience or not, it is quite easy to win that lane. In the LPL, 4 out of the 5 games with the Poppy versus GP matchup, we've got an 80% win ratio, Clement, so that means, you know,
is 4 out of 5 for the Poppy?
For the Poppy.
Oh, okay.
And when you go melee against a Gangplank, you expect to lose that matchup. You expect Gangplank to be okay, but a lot of the time we've seen Poppies dominate this lane and come out better on the other side. So there is still hope for Biubiu in the top lane, and there needs to be hope when you're going up against SDG. BLG sitting behind and saying, please, Sooning, your best performance and nothing but. We want a 2-0 from Sooning, and BLG will progress through.
Definitely. BLG, the biggest fans, shouting in the crowds right now. When we go to the blue side, I definitely expect to hear those Sooning chants come out just a bit louder, because BLG is also located in Shanghai. Two compositions, very different from each other. 5v5 potential for Sooning, and SinoDragons trying to pick up the pace early.
The super team has to come out super, and for SinoDragons, their red side win rate is nothing high to speak of. So you'd have hope if you're BLG. You'd have hope that game 1 goes to Sooning. Only time will tell. SinoDragon claw to find their way in playoffs. Wow. Didn't even let Sooning finish their chant. He just attacked. That is the loudest chant now in the LPL.
I'm just scanning across all of these fan-made banners, and don't really see any SinoDragon banners yet. SinoDragons, they don't really have a star player that is very well recognized by the community.
I think we'll head towards either Xiaopeng or GALA.
Yeah,
by
I
playoffs.
really do think we should see some of those banners out, but for now, we still see mainly SMLZ banners across the entire stadium.
Yep. We didn't get a chance to talk about this matchup, but now that we do, I'd heavily like to go into the Orianna versus Jayce. We know that the poke is there, but Twila, as soon as he gets the acceleration gate, there is potential to just disrupt and destroy the Orianna in lane.
Definitely. I think what the Orianna is going to try and do is try to outpush with the Q early, get through that minion wave, and just get those airy procs both sides.
God, that's a strong top lane already. Biubiu losing the back end of that trade. Maple will try and get level 2 as well. The command dissonance will apply that burst there with the Airy and domination second for the Orianna mid. Also see an Airy there from Twila, who's gone for the inspiration tree. So corrupting potion versus the Doran's ring in the mid lane, which is very rare to see. these days.
Yeah, so Twila should be able to win out with the 3 stacks. He's going to have a little bit more sustained, and I think Maple later on, we will see him playing a little bit more defensively.
Yep.
Great warding I want to spot out from SinoDragons. We actually saw a very good ward come out from the jungle early on to seal off all the potential pathways from the Rek'Sai.
Yep.
Weiwei did not find a gank in towards the top. And I also want to point that Changhong did a very good triple barrel into the brush that did tag Biubiu already. Now, Biubiu has only played 2 games in the LPL so far, was a bit of an emergency substitution behind Xiaopeng. And we haven't seen him do well in lane, but he's been bringing it in the team fights.
Yeah, like I said, he's the only person to play the Jarvan top as SwordArT, just spotting out the scuttle take from Xiaopeng, who now hits level 3. Having a quick breeze towards what the Orianna's taking. Scorch is quite a rarity as well, so Maple looking for the burst. Taste of Blood, Ravenous Hunter in there too, with double adaptive damage.
Weiwei coming in.
This is going to be the first gank. Already flash force there from Changhong. Biubiu getting the better of the trade. Xiaopeng going to make a response into the mid lane. Twila is low, however. If the Rek'Sai can get down here, but never mind. The flash away from the spear. Ignite is down. Shock Blast comes in. And first blood over to SDG.
Yeah, that was really well played by both sides. If Maple wanted to flash, he did have to try and get away from the thundering blow there. But holds on to his flash, and Twila does get the knockback straight into the Nidalee.
No summoners for both mid laners. Heal being taken in this lane was the best bet against that engage as well. So unlucky for Maple on the Orianna. Has to back, pick up a Dark Steel, and not much to be said rather than that Xiaopeng with first blood is the Nidalee that has a bit of a lead from this game.
Yeah, really well played. Maple does bring the heal, but still not able to keep himself alive. And great Shock Blast combo, like you were mentioning, by Twila to snipe down the Orianna. And this is a problem we've seen with the Ori. It's that she is a pretty slow pick most of the times. You don't really expect the Orianna to get going until the 3rd item mark, when she gets that death cap and has that like one-shot potential. So this is the first Orianna we're going to be seeing in Season 9 in the LPL.
Yep.
And so far, it's not been working out that great. I do want to point out his runes were very interesting, though. His runes were not a scale-up rune. He was not bringing Transcendence in the sorcery. He was actually going to go for Scorch and also the Absolute Focus. So a very lane-dominant selection in his runes. He was looking for the maximum amount of poke potential in the lane and trying to shove Twila out. Now, to be fair, he was actually doing quite a good job before the gank came in.
And to be fair as well, for Maple, taking the domination trees is also an interesting part of that. A lot of the time with the Oriannas in lane these days, we do see precision. Now, you might be going, what's going on? But of course, as a secondary tree, you get the bonus attack speed there, and you get yourself a bit of extra damage on the auto attacks, which the Clockwork wind-up can really wind up like the Death Sentence in the bottom lane. Mark getting pulled out a bit. Caitlyn in force. Mark gets the flash pulverized. Headbutt will come through, but locked on down. SwordArT dies before the jungler can get in. Weiwei has no response. Xiaopeng everywhere in this early game.
Yeah, and you could see that was just a situation where Suning's jungle was a little bit slower. SinoDragons had their jungle coming in, and they actually had the inside track. Suning didn't know that. They had Rek'Sai coming over. They thought it was going to be a sweet 3v2 situation, so they stayed, but they definitely overstayed. Great pathing by Xiaopeng to find the inner track.
At least Smlz is still alive in this lane, so although the support goes down, and although the kill goes to the Nidalee, who's already got 2 of them,
oh, this is such a sweet freeze by Smlz as well. Just getting that cannon minion to stop right in front of the minion, the tower range.
He'll be able to back off this as well. Should pick up a pickaxe or maybe a BF sword. Let's see. Yeah, it is the BF sword in the end. Picks up the fairy charm, as we know, very cost efficient. Pretty sure you get 80%, no, 85% of your gold back off of it.
I don't think the return value is actually that high, but
it is.
But the efficiency is definitely there.
Yeah.
As you were talking about, very cheap item to begin with anyway. Sub 200 gold.
Oh,
Changhong no flash.
Really good gap close. Ultimate comes in. Changhong finds himself in the middle of trouble, but Weiwei takes him down before the Catamarage can do any more damage. Good gank here from the top lane.
Yeah, and they're going to get a full push in. There is no teleport from Changhong, so we do expect him to miss some of this tower plating.
Yep. That puts CS right back to the margin as well for Biubiu. Exactly what he needed. Because he didn't have teleport as well. And Changhong now no ult to use globally. I know yesterday, Clement, you were talking a lot about how the Gangplank needs to influence these other lanes with that ulti, and with such a long cooldown this early on, we're going to see a bit of silence across the map from the GP.
Now, what's so good about the Gangplank on patch 9.5 is that he actually has a decent chance of winning his own lane now with the buff to the to the barrels that he has, 20 extra damage towards champions, and he's been a very common pick in the LPL for a long time. You can support your bot lane with the pick. You can play a bot lane focus game, which is still the majority way that LPL teams like to play and set up their composition. So very popular there. We did see some shock blast being thrown on Maple's way, and he was forced out of lane purely by Twila and the pressure of a Xiaopeng gank. Xiaopeng's going to walk away with blue buff.
Twila's able to walk back as well. Wave will reset. Maple, however, goes back, gets a lost chapter. So although he was just forced out, we'll see how this lane starts getting influenced, because Twila, lethality on the mark, and there you go. You've got your Mercury treads there too. So a lot of the negotiation of damage is just sent out the window.
This should really be the strong point between Jayce and Nidalee. They have strong chase down potential, execution on the Nidalee, and if Twila can set that up with just a shock blast, there's a lot of targets he can easily kill. Both the Rek'Sai and a Maple are pretty much in one-shot kill range if they land a shock blast and they're able to follow up with the Nidalee spear. So I really do want to see SinoDragons try to play a harder early game.
What a hook from SwordArT. Mark is just going to die. A miss auto from Smlz, but GALA has the ultimate, ults into the backside. They get the net, they don't get the trap, as Rek'Sai following in as well. Flashes and a response from Xiaopeng, but he's back over the wall. Weiwei coming on in, but with Conqueror, he doesn't have the Hellblaze burst. Xiaopeng with his third kill, and SDG just outplaying Suning.
Yeah, that was such a good start from SwordArT right there. Level 6 onto level 5 Alistar, nothing he can do there, but there was a lot of mis-execution on the back end of that. GALA got most of his damage down. Smlz actually misclicked a couple of times in that minion wave to give GALA more time to get damage down, and Xiaopeng just outplayed the heck out of the Rek'Sai.
Really
Let's watch that again. This is a very good combo setup, one of the best combo setups we've seen them actually do. That's one miss auto attack. That's I guess it was only one, but
it's still the biggest one. I mean, that's a quarter of your HP bar for the free auto damage you took off for GALA.
Yeah, Weiwei tried to get the flash in and get the extra damage down. Doesn't get the burrow. Xiaopeng able to go over the wall.
He's so good with this Nidalee.
Yeah.
Xiaopeng, I think he's the only person in the LPL Spring who's played the Nidalee, and you can see why. Weiwei is returning to his favorite lane, and that's the second flash burnt by Changhong this game.
Still holding on to his cannon barrage. He's very willing to step up right here. Has Twila by his side.
Good dodge from Biubiu there in the top side of the map as Twila starts to roam up. But remember that the Orianna has a lot of push here as well. So Maple's able to respond. Maple's able to get the wave out and force quite a lot against the Jayce. As he comes back to lane now, Maple at a good point in the CS margin. Only a couple behind of Twila. To be expected after getting forced out of lane a couple of times. The Orianna's still in it.
I really think this is about the time that SinoDragon's going to start to dominate the laning phase. Even though their matchup in the bot lane isn't that good, they have a 3-0 Xiaopeng. And that's enough pressure to make all of these lane push in SinoDragon's favor. I do want to see the Jayce and the Nidalee start roaming into the Suning side of the jungle. And Weiwei should not be able to hold this. Orianna is actually a very slow champion to rotate. He doesn't really have the best skirmishing power either. So this should be SinoDragon's golden 5 minutes into the game to see what type of advantages they can get.
Rift Herald already 2K. Looking good here from SDG, setting themselves up. All they need is one game, remember. And you'd be saying that, Suning, they know what their win condition is. Partly revolves around Maple here in this mid lane. SwordArT Weiwei move up, trying to get a pick onto Twila, but very safe in this lane. There's really nothing else left on the map. A dragon hasn't spawned, the Rift Herald was just taken, and bottom side jungle is pretty much empty.
Yeah, I do want to see where that Herald is placed down. I actually think it would be very beneficial to actually go into the bot side. One thing that SinoDragon does better than any other team in the LPL is that they're so good with the GALA killer instinct roams. They shut down 1-3-1s, they shut down side lanes so well with it.
Yep. We'll see, because the Rift Herald's getting dropped mid. So this is another, Maple in a longer lane, not as beneficial for the Orianna.
Okay, so they're actually going for the stock standard answer and just take down the mid lane first. I respect that. Gives easier roam into the jungle as well.
Yep.
So they're not going to go for the special sauce. They're going to go for the standard part.
Secret sauce, maybe onto SMLZ. This is the 1v1. GALA with the solo kill. Mark doesn't need to come in. He will get the assist to negate the solo kill going on the charts, but GALA just popping off as usual.
Oh, SMLZ. And we've seen this play happen so many times. Whenever SwordArT leaves lane, SMLZ will die. It's like SwordArT saying, hey, I'll see you later. And then SMLZ turns around and says, hey, okay, I'll see you in the afterlife. And just gives up his life. We've seen this play happen twice against the LGD series against Imp. And it's been one of the biggest weaknesses for Suning because they cannot leverage the roaming ability of SwordArT and the hyper carry potential of SMLZ at the same time.
It kind of shows you the rise and fall that Suning have had over this split. It's been sad because, again, we called them the super team for a reason. SMLZ, Maple, before it was Xiaopeng and Akka, SwordArT, like these are all players who are stars in their own right. 2 over from the LMS. They came over, this is their first year, first split in the LPL. And it comes down to this, where they're already out. There's another team depending on their success.
Yeah, they're a beautiful puzzle set that does not have fitting pieces
together.
Yeah. So if you look at the individuals, SwordArT has been great with the plays he's been doing. SMLZ still very good in the laning phase, statistically still one of the top 80 carries in the lane, and also just with his DPM potential as well. 609, he's the highest DPM player in the LPL.
Yep.
But unfortunately, when you put them together in the lane, it just does not work out. SMLZ really needs someone that just purely follows him, never leaves, and minimizes most of his mistakes.
Someone like Kahlua was in Rogue Warriors to a degree. Very different playstyle, of course. Weiwei just trying to get into this bottom lane. Despite everything we talked about, SMLZ still getting attention from Suning's jungler. Rek'Sai down here is spotted on a ward, and he sat here for so darn long. Trevor sends to see that Mark's coming up, but the Jayce is missing. They have an idea of where he might be. The Twila roaming down now, a big threat with that mid lane turret almost dead.
And at least Biubiu is finding some relief as all the attention is on the bottom side of the map. There's, I believe, almost 3 flashes burned.
Hang on, keep his verdicts up. Changhong in a lot of trouble, but Biubiu doesn't have enough mana. Shield neglects a lot, but Grasp of the Undying and removes Scurvy, just going to get Changhong back to half health.
Yeah, I actually don't like that trade that much because Gangplank can very easily heal up. And taking a look at the bot side, that Rek'Sai has been spotted for a minute now.
I mean, he's been down here for longer than that minute.
Yeah, this is a massive waste of time.
Xiaopeng has Runic Echoes, Rek'Sai has Warriors, but there is a Sheen on the side of the Nidalee. Xiaopeng joins the fight. I think SDG just win it.
True, definitely the case. And after the ward does expire, they probably did spot out the ward body there. And finally, Weiwei does leave the lane, but I believe the damage was already done. He's 1 level behind, almost 20 CS down.
Yep.
And Xiaopeng will be in hunting season for some Xersai meat.
Yeah, he will.
I can't believe I remember what Rek'Sai's called.
remember. Oh yeah, instant ultimate, unbreakable will pop there by Mark. So you're getting small wins where you can in this bottom lane. Yep. Changhong gonna lose this. Oh. No, he doesn't. Actually gets the Scuttle Crab. I'm pretty sure that was the passive from Changhong as well.
The Grog Soak Blade, as it was called in the past. And I believe now it's Trial by Fire.
Trial by Fire, that's the one. Fire enters the bottom lane. No one's going to escape as SMLZ gets ulted on Spear, doesn't land. But a Javelin Toss now down. Weiwei goes in the middle of 3 members. Very confused by Suning. They just keep falling further behind.
Yeah, Suning trying to push the tempo way too much in the bottom lane, sending their jungler down for 1 minute and then just losing everything in the gank. Questionable decision by Weiwei to actually move in there, but I will note that SinoDragon did very well with the vision.
SwordArT just does not miss this game, it seems. Shockwave is available. Twila going to be exploded. No! Flashes out, Maple can't get the range.
Yeah, it does seem like Maple tried to play it just a little too safe right there, but they do get everything away from Twila.
So ultimate down for the burn of Summoner. At least Twila gets forced back and Maple can get some priority in this lane, but bottom lane is already broken. And for BLG, it seems much like the fans this season. Relying on Suning is a no-go.
So SwordArT does get the initial hook, but they don't really want to set up the combo. And just look how far ahead they are in the laning phase, how many wards that SinoDragon has around this area. They have the easy roam from mid-jungle, and there's nothing Suning can do.
0-3 on the Caitlyn. Smlz has an infinity edge now, but it's at the cost of a full other item for GALA. He's 3-0-2. The Kai'Sa's so far ahead, and you know why GALA plays this all the damn time? He's like LWX. So good at the champion that anything else just looks, 25 less good, to put my English perfectly.
It just almost doesn't seem fair that SinoDragon is able to get away with this lane in the state that it currently is.
Yeah, absolutely. A Thresh Caitlyn versus Kai'Sa Alistar.
Yeah, so it's a bit tragic for Suning that they lost the one lane they should had some say in, and the rest of the lanes are not doing that hot either. So SinoDragons, I think they're proving once again that they're more than just a one-trick pony, that they can play an early game tempo team as well.
Suning are just falling by the wayside here in this game number 1. 6,000 gold the lead for SinoDragon at 18 minutes. Baron spawning soon. SDG even positioning up there because they know that Weiwei and SwordArT are on the roam. And for Maple, I mean, where's he? He's going to get his blue buff, probably return to the mid lane, but a swift breeze will just break down that turret, especially if Maple or SwordArT get chunked out. Looks absolutely free for SDG.
Yeah, it definitely does not look good, and SinoDragons know that Smlz is so far behind, he was actually freezing the minion wave on the bot side.
Yep.
He only started to push it once he saw most of the SinoDragon members already grouped up. But that's never a good thing when you see it in professional play, someone freezing the minion wave and saying, hey, I just need time, man. Please give me more time to scale back into the game.
At least you got someone like Maple on your team who, going up against a Jayce you'd expect would have been bullied out a lot more. Only that one death, but still even in CS, despite having a kill down on his enemy mid laner. So Luden's Echo picked up here for Maple. It's not going to be the scaling game. They know they need some damage online as soon as possible. And Luden's Echo on Orianna is a great first item. Remember that for Orianna, Shockwaves are still able to bring these games back, but the damage follow-up is going to be your major concern.
Still going to be a long time until Orianna can really do her job. She wants that one-shot combo onto GALA.
Yep.
That's the scaling point you're really looking for if you're playing on Suning's side. I feel like Suning still have a good amount of late game ults, late game outs, I should say. They're going to have the superior front line. Smlz with his full crit items. Caitlyn is never something to scoff at. Orianna, the same deal. So they're still very explosive, but I think the next 5 minutes is going to really determine the game. If Suning cannot win a single team fight, if they cannot find any kills, I feel like SinoDragons have a very easy snowball into Baron and into a game finish. That would also lead into the playoffs. And it would also lead them, securing their spot, securing BLG outside of it. A very tense moment as Suning. Baron's coming up in 5 seconds, and with all the damage here and all the possibilities, again, I say this, there is a big chance if they secure vision around that Baron pit, they open up this mid lane turret first, that Baron could be a very real threat that Suning might not be able to contest. The bottom line with this Suning roster, when you're playing Biubiu, who's had a much weaker laning phase compared to Xiaopeng, is I feel you need to guarantee a winning bot lane. Like, you have to win your bot lane if you're running Biubiu. You really don't expect the new rookie, the new guy on the team, to do well in his own lane. And when we've seen Smlz just flunk the laning phase this hard, it's almost impossible for Suning to then come back and win. They essentially don't have a win condition when the game it develops like this. They do not, but me being the Orianna fan that I am, I still see games that come back. What was it? SKT EDG Worlds? I mean, that was a game. Oh, there's a lot of games. If you've watched Mystic, you know that Caitlyn is a miracle worker. Yeah, that's right. Even being, what is that, 1,700 gold behind in that lane matchup there for the Caitlyn versus the Kai'Sa. Mid lane quite the same, and jungle's just so far behind. And the GP has had a great laning phase. I mean, it's 2,600 gold over to Changhong. Here's the Trinity Force, Youmuu's Ghostblade before. Biubiu even has himself the Spirit Visage or the Adaptive Helm. It's just a really rough start here for Suning and continues getting rougher, losing more control, and a Mountain Dragon now on the cards here for SDG, which GALA looks like he's just going to solo it. Yeah, that's a rough one. You see Suning on the map right now. I think they're doing the right decisions. They're swapping over their top lane, their bottom to the top side, trying to get a pick around the Baron. That's pretty much the one way they're going to get themselves out of the hole they are in right now. But the Dragons have not been favorable to them. They give up a Mountain Drake. It's an easy Baron take.
Cannon Barrage going to be using that top lane turret just to deny opening up the map here for Suning. Gets it even harder. That ace in the hole doing 0 damage from Smlz. They're going to try again, but even just pushing the wave up here, knowing that Twila is going to clear it away. As soon as they get that response, and SDG pushing into the river, means that soon Smlz and SwordArT rather have to pull back.
Yeah, next Drake is also a Mountain Drake. That's going to come around the 27-minute mark. So SinoDragons, they are looking at a pre-30-minute Baron at this point. Should be a fairly easy setup, and the way Sunny's going to have to get it back into the game is they have to find the picks. The question really comes down to, can SwordArT find a hook out of vision, grab a crucial member on SinoDragons, instantly take them down, and then snowball the Baron away from SinoDragons? Because the way the game is going right now, I think SinoDragons secure second Mountain Drake, they snowball it into a Baron, and they just take over the game from there. So that's the big point we're looking for. The vision contest around the Baron buff is going to be crucial to Suning's chances.
Knowing the flavorsome RNG of this first game, we'll expect to see an Infernal come up afterwards as well. SDG waiting for their pick, and their potential is so far there. But into a choke, I will say this. If Suning find SDG caught out in this small space, then your hope starts revitalizing for the Orianna. Then you start saying, okay, Suning, there is a lot of pick, there's a lot that you can play with in this gap.
Definitely is the case, but just looking at the way the vision is being cleared, I think one problem for Suning is they don't have a front line that can actually walk into these brushes right now. Their front line is Biubiu, but he's on the bottom side of the map, so if they don't have a Poppy here, here comes
the big flank from Biubiu. Who's it onto? It's onto Twila. What's he doing? Just walks past them. The flash comes in. What?
Huh?
Where was the charge? Twila caught out. That's a big pick. Xiaopeng even. What?
I thought that what Biubiu should have done is, at the very least, he should have held the ramp. Like, if he just holds the ramp, there's nothing. Okay.
At least he got the flash out. Biubiu now uses the ultimate. The charge is there. The spear is into SwordArT. Cannon Barrage coming down. Biubiu might die for his sins, and GALA hops on in with the killer instinct. A very curious play, Clement. I'm not going to ask you to explain that because I don't think anyone can. I would like to see a replay.
Yeah, no, that was a interesting communication from both teams. SinoDragons was backing out in unison, but I felt like Suning had to go for that play.
That was such a good teleport. That was Suning's way back in.
He should have held the members at the ramp. If he held them at the ramp, I felt like SwordArT could have found something. They could have followed up with Weiwei, coming in with the Prey Seeker. Smlz has that range as well, but they just threw the teleport away. So SinoDragons, even though they've been forced out of this one, they can just set the exact same play.
That's right. They got 9k gold lead, and no pick, no worries. 25 minutes into the game, it's still accelerating here for SDG. In front of the Baron, they now stand, and ability to clean out vision is going to be super easy here. A lot of vision priority with the control wards there from 3 out of 4 members. Sell your corrupting potions, 3 out of 5, excuse me. Changhong and Twila still have corrupting potions. Get rid of it. Let's go. Control wards. So we'll see Baron now started up. Yeah, Colonel agrees. There's a lot of damage coming out of GALA this early on.
That's kind of cute from Smlz. I don't think it's really worth it when they have an Ocean Drake.
He's got nothing else to use it on.
Yeah, Smlz is just like, you know what, I'm going to send you a message. Throws out the ace in the hole. Just trying to scare away GALA. Not going to really do anything. Finally, Maple might have a good track way around. Actually decides against it as Twila heads towards the bottom side as well.
He can't deal with Xiaopeng whatsoever. This Nidalee, the one-on-one threat is huge with the Lich Bane now. Changhong just to take away Krugs. No resources given over to Suning. 10k very near and very much on the horizon here for SDG to lead by. And Suning, looks like they do not have an answer at this point. Still waiting for Maple, but he's got his 2 items now, Morellonomicon. They cannot possibly wait for the 3rd. I don't even think Maple's going to get there at this rate, but waiting for level 16 for the max level Shockwave, maybe there's something there.
Yeah, we do see Maple having the full Sword Boots and the Morellonomicon. Lots of magic penetration there. If he can find a double Shockwave, I think he needs it on both Twila and GALA to win at this point.
I think you need a 3-4-man Shockwave to win these fights if you're Maple. And it's not often that in this split we have said we need Maple. Because for Suning, when they were on their win streak, when they were looking so damn good as a potential 3rd or 4th seed, moving towards playoffs, we're like, hey, you know, Maple's just situating, he's on his LeBlanc, he's playing well, but look at SMLZ, you know, look at Xiao, look at Hacker. So, for once, you know, it's going to be on the back of Maple.
Something just went wrong with Suning during their Chinese New Year break. They celebrated the wrong way. They probably angered the gods or something. But after Chinese New Year, they actually had the lowest win rate in the LPL for a long, long time.
Yeah.
And that's why we see them outside of playoffs. A 4-0 start for this team, a super team. I think we rightfully call them a super team at that point. I
still call them a super team, just not super performance.
Yeah, but they did not fit their pieces together whatsoever. I think this is like, you know, I think there's a lot of blame to go around. We don't really know what's happening inside the roster. They had Coach Comet come over from Africa.
Which, Coach Comet is very, yeah,
you got VG. So they had a lot of pedigree and a lot of big names in this this organization. It's a bit of a tragedy they couldn't find how to actually work their pieces, and sitting out Xiao just feels wrong. Xiao plays a very specific 4-1 style. He is a split-pushing top laner, and that just did not gel well with SMLZ, the way he played and the amount of attention and resources he needed to function.
You definitely could look at what piece of the puzzle and just say, yeah, this should be fitting together. There's so many elements to be spoken of for Suning. On the note of Coach Comet as well, he's such a successful coach. Of course, yeah, freak of freaks. It's quite ironic, you know, we had a bit of a swap around. A freak of freaks stole one of our coaches, we stole one of theirs. Or rather, LCK.
And no Fate now.
Yeah, that's right.
Good team.
And then a couple of coaching changes this split, but I'll pause because Baron's finally been started up. GALA has his 3rd item, that's why. And now suddenly SDG. I mean, you have to be fearful. There's a big flash there from Mark, but the Baron is taken away. Maple can't get in the fight. Level 15 still. Remember, GALA just killer instincts in the backline. Weiwei goes gold, but he might be dead. Shockwave does nothing. That's what you were hoping for. At least something. Maple has to flash away. The dissonance to slow them down, but they're on the hunt. Changhong as fast as anything. He gets the barrel. He speeds up, but Maple couldn't do a single thing in that fight.
Yeah, still level 15, doesn't have his full max rank ultimate, and GALA just lives through that so easily with the flash, with the heal, excuse me. SwordArT can't find the hook either, and SinoDragons, they just run with this game plan. It's so cut and dried at this point. There's nothing that Suning could actually find.
Right now, you are not a fan of BLG because their chances have been so slim since the 10-15 minute mark, and they have gotten even more so. Suning for their defense around the inner turret, I think they just have to leave this because SDG, they're coming to knock it, and even in the top side, Biubiu, oh no, it was Maple who got killed by Changhong. It was a solo kill for the GP, and SDG just cutting out all the pieces themselves as Mark will not re-engage. Now it's inhibitor turrets that'll come next.
The teleport's coming in as well. SinoDragons want to end this right here and now. Still continuing with the push. They do have a 5v4 advantage, and Weiwei's going in once more.
Changhong getting chased up. Here comes the flash from SwordArT with the box down as well. Flay being used before, and Biubiu doesn't let him escape. They get a big pick. It's a shutdown, but it's onto the Thresh as Biubiu just gets turned on. GALA doesn't care about the rest of the team. He's on the Poppy, dies, and SDG just back to the turret. Suning can't even get back in their base.
Suning just scattering in the wind. I wonder where SMLZ is actually going. That's pretty interesting.
Twila's trying to stop the backs here. Clement, inhibitor's going to go down. Baron buff's there. SDG not going to end it yet, but their playoff run may just start with this very game.
Yeah, it definitely will. I'm still pondering over the SMLZ play right there. Thresh did make it back. But SMLZ was like, you know what, I need to wait a little while. I think this is too unsafe. He walks out, and SinoDragons do take 2 inhibitors off of that.
I'm not going to question anything from Suning this game because it's already too much on the list after what happened this game. It just goes to show you that the strength of the LPL, it is in our newer players.
Yeah.
For sure.
This is a fully rookie team by SinoDragons, the only full rookie team in the LPL to do so. And boy, oh boy, are these rookies powerful. You just saw Changhong with the double armor penetration, or lethality, excuse me. Yep. Just solo out Maple underneath his tower. Maple still not going for the lasagnas. He knows he needs more damage to bring his team back in the fight.
Rabadon's death cap. For Orianna to bring this game back into fruition is going to be a miracle. And there you go.
That's pretty intense. SinoDragons have a 100% win rate if they get the first Baron. 13 wins, 0 losses. They're a very consistent team, and they're one of the slow-playing teams in the LPL as well. So they know what to do with those objectives, and they do favor the late game fights.
With the Baron in hand still, 10 seconds remaining. Changhong might be caught out once again. It's all that Suning can do is get this pick, but he even takes down SwordArT on his way out. SDG, meanwhile, are looking for their third inhibitor and the last fight to end the game. The knockup comes through from Mark. It's oh high again. And SDG climb on top of Suning. Twila flashes forward. Smlz is absolutely out of the fight already. Gets sniped down by Xiaopeng's infamous Nidalee. And as SDG head towards the Nexus, they secure on their first ever LPL split playoffs. BLG have been knocked out officially, and SDG, their legacy begins here in the LPL.
It doesn't matter how you count the scores, how you do the rankings, SinoDragons will be, at the very least, your 8th seed for the LPL Spring Playoffs.
100% win rate after first Baron. It also continues on. SDG were clinical that game. And although we didn't see the Sion in the top lane, we as sure hell saw the Kai'Sa, and we know why it has demanded bans from different teams.
SinoDragons, they just play with so many tools. They still have the core of GALA, that late game hyper carry on their side, and they understand how to play strong early game as well. Suning, this is a very experimental roster on their side. They have Biubiu, very inexperienced on the team, and SinoDragons just took the shot. They said, you know what, we don't need to go late against this. We actually have the better laners in this matchup, and we're gonna run away with it.
They had so much security in their composition as well. I mean, Changhong, GALA, there was always a play if it got towards that late game stage. So the security of SDG and the drafts need to be commended once again, because it is pretty straightforward. You know what the win condition is. There's no confusion as to what this team's actually going for.
Yeah, and I think a lot of it did come down to the matchup between Weiwei and Xiaopeng, which Xiaopeng won handily. You remember the first gank into the bot lane. Suning was staying there because they had Weiwei on the way. They thought, okay, this is a 3v2 scenario. Then the Nidalee jumps into the river brush, and they're like, uh-oh, we're sandwiched. Nidalee comes in first, gets that first kill, and it just snowballs from there. 0-3-0 for 0-3-1 for Smlz during the first 15 minutes of the laning phase, and that's not what you expect out of a Caitlyn versus Kai'Sa matchup.
Caitlyn Thresh versus Kai'Sa, and you're like, wow, cool, Caitlyn Thresh, it's such a good combination. I think SwordArT was probably the most on point in that game out of anyone across the Suning roster.
Yeah, I would definitely say so, and the problem here is that their synergy is just not there whatsoever. Every time Suning's bot lane pushed up, they paid for it in blood with kills.
Did. That was a rough game, but congratulations to SDG for their first ever LPL split. The LDL champions may look to become the LPL champions. It's a long road from here, but it starts with this series, and it starts with, or ends with game 2. We'll find out after this.
还是控楼了，技能这里3人的话有大招的，这波大招马上好了，这波有危险，这波龙如果被抢了的话，哎，完了，左一炮，把龙给拿了，这里卡上他们进场，船长被抢了就疯了，被抢了就疯了，这里要进场了，龙门进场要收割了，哎，这什么？哇，他这个白盾蓝盾加起来。 有个1000多血啊！哇，这个天外飞仙，对，给错了，但是看着这个盾也很肉，没拉住小扎克，完了，扎克的闪现，这波很危险，很危险。 国豪这里差一点点，这次多巴有火箭，火箭打掉了，
大招盖到后排，但是没有用。
但是队友能跟上吗？龙恒来了，龙恒来了，这边需要谁拿对方的辅助？哈姆完了，这边超神了，这个字飞起来了，太夸张了，这个 AOE，BLG 功亏一篑，
夸抓 kill，
太可怕了。 奥恩没大，
奥恩没大，这边宝蓝在旁边阴着
，Rookie 跟宝蓝，
这一波很重要。
Rookie 闷宝蓝的位置很刁钻，
找阴的人在哪里？
要
找到了，
飞机
抢到了。
大联盟的话，安吉看的还不错，这列拉我差点被秒掉，飞机还行，飞机也还活着。
卡姆这里是吃掉了一个克雷拉，
哦呦，这波主力又要看斯科的差一环，差点被秒掉，但是泥王也被杀了，艾博跟斯科的活了下来，
这波追不上了，谁能想到斯科特的一发导弹抢到了大龙？
哎，他们这个进化也是蛮弱。
这波开了闪现，
开了一下，但 Scout 没有被踢回来，这边拉了个杰斯，杰斯没谁了，杰斯被秒了。Scout 没有倒地 ，Scout 有双招的，杰斯已经阵亡，就会把表金身交给了自己。艾博在大龙喷，被大龙喷，这边的话防守，这来打了3个人，这一波力防守很重要。这边闪现过来，这个拉五，这手到奇迹了吗？一切的场景出现了，这个拉五拿到这个3杀，艾金把握住了1%的机会。 这一波对于安吉来说很难扛，他们的开团点 ，Rookie 倒地了，
又是一个
摇，小壮子站，那这被秒了，闪现拉，哎，被计划解了，被计划解了，但是飞姐还是没管，来，
能不能打起来？
别来，我计划再说厂长被秒了 ，Scout 也是差一丝血，一对1来，还有好，这边奥是走了2个人，这个拉五还输入，这个拉五一直能发现，那滚起来，背后这边还几个盾，在这边想换这个拉五没有机会，Scout 被秒。